Hi everyone. In this video, I'll be going over Gestalt Therapy. We'll begin with the philosophy and focus of treatment. So Gestalt Therapy is a branch of the existential perspective, which we went over last week, and it suggests that individuals must be understood in the context of their ongoing relationship with the environment. They also suggest that unfinished business from the past prevents effective functioning in the present. Unfinished business consists of negative past experiences that were never resolved and now affect the way we are with ourselves and with others. Unfinished business will not go away on its own and must be dealt with and experienced fully. For example, someone who never felt loved and accepted by their father might look to men for acceptance and love in adulthood. Accordingly, therapists work with clients to bring the past into the present so they can relive it and resolve it. Gestalt therapy stresses key concepts such as increasing awareness, living in the here and now, addressing unfinished business, and the quality of the interpersonal relationships a client is involved in. Here and now awareness and integration of the fragmented parts of one's personality allow the client to gain full awareness of what they are doing. This form of therapy promotes direct experiencing rather than the abstractness of just talking about experiences. So rather than talk about a childhood trauma, the client is encouraged to become the hurt child, relive that experience, and resolve it. Therapy also focuses on awareness and contact with the environment, which consists of both the external, meaning other people, and the internal parts of the self world. Therapy focuses on awareness and contact with both of those equally. Some basic assumptions. So first, individuals have the capacity to self-regulate when they're aware of what's happening in and around them. Therapy provides the setting and opportunity for that awareness to be supported and restored. Change occurs from being who we are rather than from trying to be who we're not. This tenet is called the paradoxical theory of change. Essentially, it suggests that rather than moving and trying to become who we should be, we should focus on who we are. And we should invest ourselves in remaining present fully in our current condition. The more we try to be who we're not or who we think we should be, the less likely we are to change. You can't change until you accept who you are. Now we'll move into some key concepts. First is holism. So this suggests that all of nature is seen as unified and whole. So Gestalt therapists are interested in the whole person, not pieces of the person. And they don't place any superior value on any particular aspect of the person, such as their thoughts, their feelings, or their behavior. Every part of the person is part of them and is important. Field theory is another key concept in Gestalt therapy. And Gestalt therapy is based on field theory, which basically means that a person must be seen in their context. For example, you can't make sense of what a fish does and what a fish is without reference to its environment. A fish in clean water means something different than a fish in the sand. The client, accordingly, exists in a context, and that context is constantly changing. The meaning of any situation that a person experiences is determined by the relationship between the thing they're focusing on, which is called the figure, and the context in which it is occurring, which is called the ground. So when attempting to understand any mental health problem, we would ask, how is this person's problem a function of their situation? And you would follow that with asking, how is this person and their problem shaping their environment? Gestalt therapists describe humans as organisms in order to stress their holistic nature. Self-regulation involves the choices and adjustments made by a person in order to adapt to their circumstances and their needs. Therefore, organismic self-regulation involves regulating oneself based on the needs that arise from any given sensation, interest, or need. For example, when you are sleepy, you have a need for sleep, so you regulate by going to sleep. Another example is if you feel offended by someone, you may regulate by defending yourself or by criticizing that person. The process of regulation is often hindered by upbringing, social forces, and demands of the environment. Some great examples are provided by Simon Stafford Townsend, who's a therapist who uses the Gestalt approach in Bristol. And his website is provided on this link on this page here, thebristoltherapist.co.uk. And this is a quote from his website. It states, "I feel sleepy, but I'm told I can't go to sleep because I'm at school and have to pay attention. I want to go to the toilet, but I feel my boss will get angry if I leave the meeting I'm in before it ends. I feel hungry, but my family make intrusive comments about my eating habits. I want to defend myself against physical attack, but I've been brought up to believe all physical violence is unacceptable. I want to disagree with an offensive viewpoint, but I've always had my own viewpoints undermined by others. I want to leave my unfulfilling job, but it's secure and there's a recession. I want to express myself creatively, but my family always mocked me for it when I was growing up." So these are some examples of how regulation is being undermined by various different forces. Essentially, I want to do X, but I can't because of Y. So doing or not doing something because you should or shouldn't. These shoulds or should nots are called introjects. They're rules and ideas that we've accepted and internalized or introjected without critically evaluating them. In therapy, we try to help clients to return to self-regulation by identifying these introjects, and then critically evaluating them in therapy and deciding which ones the client wants to keep versus which ones should be abandoned. The next key concept is contact. And contact means interacting with nature and with other people without losing one's sense of individuality. It involves being in touch with what is emerging in the here and now in terms of interpersonal relationships and the environment. And prerequisites for effective contact are clear awareness, full energy, and the ability to express oneself openly. After the contact experience, there is typically a withdrawal period that allows the client to integrate what they've learned from that contact experience. Unfortunately, as with everything, there tend to be some boundary disturbances, which are defenses that we develop in order to keep us from being fully present in the moment, and they hinder our contact. These help us cope in certain situations, but if they become chronic, they can lead to dysfunctional behavior. As therapists, we are interested in finding out what the disturbance is protecting the client from, meaning what does it keep the client from experiencing. There are 5 different kinds of contact boundary disturbances. First is introjection, which I've already mentioned, involves accepting others' beliefs and standards without question. So this would be basically passively incorporating what the environment or social influences are providing us, rather than analyzing it and critically identifying what we want or need. Next is projection, which is the reverse of introjection. It involves disowning a part of ourselves by assigning it outward. In other words, attributing aspects of our personality to others. This includes denying ourselves of who we are and blaming others for our problems, which keeps us from accepting responsibility and initiating change. Next is retroflection. Retroflection involves doing or saying to ourselves what we would like to do or say to others. For example, self-mutilation is seen as directing aggression inward instead of outward. Next is deflection. And this basically involves not dealing with reality by using humor or beating around the bush. It's a form of denial. And then lastly is confluence, which involves blending with the environment in order to get along with everyone. So wanting to be liked, be accepted so much that you can't be genuine. Clients are encouraged to become aware of their contact boundary disturbances and their dominant style of blocking contact more specifically, in order to move past them and to have effective contact. All right, that is where I'm going to end this video. And the next one, we'll go over the therapeutic process according to Gestalt. Thanks for listening.